All right, guys. So now, hopefully, you guys watched part one of the fuel setup for my 8th gen Civic. And if you haven't already, stop this video right now and go look at my last video. But this is part two of the fuel setup for the 8th gen. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. I've already got the fuel cage from the previous video in the fuel tank and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to run all the fuel lines and get everything set up for your fuel rail and whatnot. Also, I'm gonna only show this once, okay? I'm only gonna show you how to do the PTFE like fittings, putting them together. I'm only gonna do that once because it's just too tedious. But let me show you guys what I have going on so far. Okay, so couple things that I have. This is the LS Swap PTFE ethanol approved fuel line kit from Evo Energy. It came with a lot of fittings. I went with the 6 a.m. fittings. So PTFE, I did 6 a.m., 20 feet. It came with a lot of fittings. I'm not gonna go over everything that it came with, but I'm gonna show you real quick how to do this. I already have all my fittings laid out on which one I'm gonna use, which are right here. Now these fittings came with the kit as well. I'm going to set this aside. So for the feed, this is the feed line that I'm going to run. I'm going to do one fitting, and this is going to be right off of the fuel pump itself, like the top of the fuel hanger or fuel cage. And that is going to be a straight, so I'm using 3 straight -6 and 1 45 degree. Now the 45 degree is going to be, it's going to go into the fuel pressure regulator, okay? So I have a -6. From here, it's going to go into the line. And then from the line, it's going to go into another -6. From the -6, it's going to go into my fuel filter, which I just got. Went by Jegs, and so what I went with is a 5-inch 100 micron fuel filter. This is the -8 model. Here's the part number here, 15005. Now this is a -8 fitting, but I have reducers. As you can see here, it goes from a -8 to a -6. Unfortunately, they don't sell the ends that are already -6. So here's the part number here. What is that? 11022. 222. I got 2 of these, one for each side of the fuel filter. Set that aside. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to do this. It's a little tough because it's all coiled up. So I use big old hose cutter or bolt cutters. So it's a little kinked here, but Evo Energy sends the kit with this tool, which you can just slide in there, and it'll fix itself, as you can see there. Now from there, you'll want to grab a pick. I have my snap-on just straight pick here, and you're gonna wedge it in between the braided line and the nylon fitting, just to make a little bit of wiggle room. You're gonna just put it in, go all the way around. I just go around once, okay? Now, I grab my fitting. There is a sleeve or a collar or olive, whatever you want to call it, inside. First and foremost, you want to get the body of the fitting itself on the line. Probably should have did that before I spreaded the line, but so that's there. This is still a little funny looking, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that back in there. Now, after I spread this once and get it a little loose, just to help move things around, doesn't take much effort. Just spread it a little bit. You'll then take the center collar and you're gonna put it around the nylon only. Which I have done there. Alrighty, so I got it around the nylon only. Should probably take this tape off, that way it can expand a little bit better. Don't worry about it fraying. So just push it down, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but inside the collar, the nylon fitting, come on, focus. The nylon fitting is all the way to the top of the collar, or the nylon hose is all the way to the top of the collar, and that's what you want. From there, grab the body, slide it all the way up. Actually, what I like to do is I like to get the, where'd it go? The fitting. And this guy came off. Make sure it's all the way down. Maybe. All the way down. Then get this guy, slip it in. Like so. Then from there, you'll just screw it in. Now, before I tighten this all the way down, I'm gonna go ahead and get some, either some grease or some type of like lubricant. I like to grab WD-40 or PV Blaster. That way it's not like causing a lot of damage or raw friction with aluminum to aluminum. Now, I do recommend having the proper Allens to do this, or not. What am I saying? The proper wrenches to do this. But I'm gonna use these guys. I know it'll mar it up, but if you're very careful, you can get this to work perfectly. Alrighty, now just like that, you got your fitting on. Now I'm gonna go ahead, feed this guy onto the vehicle and show you guys how it's ran. Alrighty, so now that we got the car up in the air, we're gonna go ahead and move this plastic cover here. It shouldn't be too hard. It looks like there's a 10 here, 2 10s, a couple clips. Maybe let's see, about 4 or 5 clips and 2 10s. Go ahead and get that out, and then I'll show you guys what's above this cover here. Okay, so now that we have the cover removed, we have the fuel tank and the canister exposed. If you can see, kind of hard to see here, but you can see where the top of the fuel tank right at the tip of my finger. You can see like through the trunk area. That's where we want to feed the line towards. So we kind of want to go with the line here. We're going to push through there and see if we can get that into place. Now this is the brake line. This looks like a brake line. This looks like a brake line. This is the feed, or in my case, this is the new return line. And this is just an evap for this canister here. So, yep, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow this feed line here, go up top here, and push towards the top of the fuel tank. Alrighty, so it's a little bit more snug than I imagined. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this bolt off here. Looks like a 14. It's one of the fuel tank hanger straps. Let the fuel tank sag down just a little bit, enough for me to snake the fuel line through there. Kind of really tight. Alrighty, so now we have the fuel line fished up there. We went ahead, took both sides of the straps off, so the front half is hanging down. Doesn't look like it's gonna drop because the bars still hit this brace right here. So I was able to feed the line up there, and then I uncoiled the hose and I just zip tied it along the lines just for now. That way I can gauge how long everything is. Alrighty, so now we're up top here. Now let's find that fitting, which is kind of hard to see, but it's right there. I don't know. Let me get something to grab it. Alrighty. I was able to reach in and grab it from the back side here. So here's the fuel line. Pretty much, we're just gonna hook this up. I need both my hands for this. Okay, so now I was able to put the fitting to the fuel pump there. You can see the angle of the line is very tight. So hopefully we don't have any issues with kinking. But if you guys do have any issues, I would recommend running a 45 and go out that way, because there's a lot more room this way. This it looks like. Yeah, I'll run it out that way. But I think my -6 line snugs up pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead, put the straps onto the fuel tank, and then I'll come back up and see how the line looks. Alrighty, so we got both straps tightened down, as you can see there. And looking at the fuel line, it's kind of hard to see, but I think we're good, because it can move around. I can see it moving around, so it's not kinked or anything. It's not pinched. I'll go ahead and probably throw a zip tie right here. That way it keeps it from vibrating. And then I'll figure some way to route this line. I'll probably end up routing to the right side of all the lines. I do have brackets. I do have these guys, kind of hard to see, but they're fuel line holders. These guys, I was thinking about clamping maybe these two brake lines and this guy together. Put a rubber hose around it. That way it doesn't chafe the brake lines, but have these guys holding it all throughout the lines and then through here. Alrighty, so I've got a clamp here. I'm just gonna work my way all the way down there. And just for anyone that's curious how I clamped it, I have a rubber hose there to kind of help void the space in between. That way it doesn't rattle and start chafing. But that's nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna do that all the way down and get it nice and tucked up there. And then from there, we'll do the fitting for the fuel pressure regulator. I almost forgot. I do still have to put the fuel filter. As you can see here, I got a Jegs one. The flow goes that way. I'm going to put my fuel filter somewhere right here. More than likely, maybe alongside this bracket here. Or, I mean, the frame. But somewhere along here. Just to make it accessible in some sort of way. I was going to buy the bracket from Jegs, but they didn't have any in stock. So I'm gonna go ahead and just zip tie it to this line for now. Get the lines mocked up. And then when I do get the bracket, I'll probably just somewhere right here, drill it and maybe put some riv nuts, or maybe alongside here, either one. I'll leave a little bit of line, that way you can fill in whether I go to this side or wherever. But I'm gonna go ahead, get this cut, get all the fittings fitted up onto the fuel filter, and then we'll move to the fuel pressure regulator. Alrighty, I have the lines ran. Just have the zip ties mocked up for now for the sake of a shorter video, but like I mentioned, we have multiple clamps like this. And as you can see here, I can order some more as well. This all came with the fuel kit, by the way. Just have it zip tied up for now. And I know earlier I fished the line through that little hole. I'm actually gonna go to the right here and come this way, just because the way that the line wants to run. And as you can see right here, that fitting, that 45-degree fitting wants to go to the right. And if I put it through the hole, it would have ended up somewhere right here, which with the 90-degree coming this way is a lot better. So just so you can get a better idea of what's going on, if I push this up, the line goes naturally to that location. And if I ran straight, the 45-degree wouldn't work because the brake lines are right there, and I wanted it to go to the left of the brake lines. So coming this way is a lot better. And I'll get this cut to length, and then I'll show you guys how everything is ran from up top. Alrighty, so now you can see here how the fuel line, instead of coming straight from this corner to here, it is now coming from the side over here, running along with the cables, kind of a natural flow there. I got my tape marked where I want to cut, so now I'm just going to feed this back down there, get it cut, get the fitting onto the line, and then from there we just tighten it onto the fuel pressure regulator. At that point, I will be installing the injectors, just the stock ones for now, get all the fuel rail bolted up, and then I'm gonna throw the engine harness on and then prime it up and see if we can find any leaks. If you guys are wondering what I use to cut my lines, this is what I use. It's a cable cutter from Harbor Freight, part number, lifetime warranty. just snip, snip. But I need 2 hands to cut this. So alrighty, so now we got the line fed through the top. Got your feed in there, coming through the fuel pressure regulator into the fuel rail. Don't mind the fuel rail, it's just in there for now for mock-up purposes. Right now I have it 45 down under this hose and above the shifter mechanism. I still need to tighten that. But I don't know if I want to do it that way or just come above everything. Kind of like so. That way it doesn't chafe anything, but it looks kind of funny. I could always just shorten it, but I don't know. You guys do what you want, but either way, that's essentially how you route it. Your feed, fuel pressure regulator through there into the fuel rail, and then your return below underneath going into the factory feed. Just like that. Well, that's all for today, guys. That ends the part 2 of the fuel setup for the 8th gens. I will make more videos as far as like off topic in a way, but essentially get the car shake down the car, make sure none of the fuel is leaking. I need to get oil, transmission fluid all in the car. I want to get the car idling with the supercharger and everything, just to see if there's any type of noise, any idling issues, stuff like that. Get all that taken care of. We do have a dyno date, sort of. And then from there, we'll drain out the fuel. Of course, get the intercooler piping welded up, drain the fuel, change the injectors, change the spark plugs, and throw a base map into there. That way we can get it running for ethanol. And then, like I've mentioned, in April, we're gonna get it tuned. We're hoping to make maybe 400, 350, 400, but we'll see. So, but yeah, that's all for today's episode. Hopefully you guys like everything that you saw today, or take it and change it, make it your own way. But that's the kind of the gist of how to get fuel set up on an 8th gen. Okay, that's all. See you guys.